Welcome back to the first race of the second race day of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and it's race number 3 in total of this weekend here in Zolder, Belgium. And we are a little bit on a delay just because of what's been going on here on the track. Nothing has to do with our championship. And this is Peter. He's one of the pit marshals, as you might be able to read on his back. And they're like telling everyone where to be starting out now, because qualifying has been going on this morning. Of course, everybody normally should know where to stand as it starts, but sometimes it's quite confusing, where the actual starting line is. So better to have some guys showing you where exactly to stop and where to start. So as they're still sorting all the trucks, and we maybe might find a quick interview for you out there, I really would like to welcome our English commentator, Chas Draycott. Hello.
Hello Lena, hello everybody. Yes, welcome back to Zolder for the first race of the day here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Fantastic conditions still grace us here at this magnificent circuit, and we look forward to another day's racing to get underway. My colleagues Joachim Eberts and Fonzie Cebrian are on the German and Spanish live streams if you'd like to go and watch them with German and Spanish commentary instead. But hopefully you'll stick around here with me for another entertaining race and lots of fun this afternoon in the glorious sunshine that we've got. It's Norbert Kisch and Sascha Lenz on the front row of the grid after time deletions for Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. And for those of you that joined us during qualifying, just to confirm, Heinrich Clemens Hecker was still classified as in 10th place, but we're just going to go silent and welcome our TV viewers from around the world.
Organics. Welcome to all the big truck fans in front of their television screens, and welcome to the second race day of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship here in Belgium, and Zolder is the racetrack. The third race of this weekend will be starting out soon. My name is Lena Vendemars, and I'm not only welcoming you, we also have our lovely commentator, Chas Draycott, for you at the screen.
Thank you very much, Lena. Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship for the third race of the weekend. My name is indeed Chas Draycott, and my commentary colleagues Joachim Eberts and Fonzie Cebrian are doing the commentary in German and Spanish over on their live streams. But hello to all of you beautiful international TV viewers from around the globe. Something new that we've been doing this year is not only having our live streams online, but also having our races broadcast live internationally on TV on many channels around the globe. So it's fantastic to have you all with us. Apologies to those live stream viewers that almost get a double sort of intro and start to this broadcast. We had a slight issue with the connection at the circuit earlier on, so we just had to reset a lot of things and get back up to pace. But here we are, ready for the next race of the day, round 23 of the championship, and we're going to go straight back down to the grid and back down to Lena.
And we are back on track with a very lovely guest, the president of the FIA Medical Commission, Dr. Sean Petherbridge, and it's really lovely to have you over here, because I heard you're a huge truck racing fan, actually.
Yeah, well, look, I've always been a motor racing fan, so it's a very interesting discipline. It's very exciting to watch, and very safe as well, actually. So it's really nice to come and see the event, feel the event, and you know, it's a great circuit with a really good medical team. They have a state-of-the-art medical center, which is fantastic, just newly built. But for me, I came on a fact-finding mission just to really understand the sport itself.
I was wondering, because of course we have scrutineering of the FIA, we have the sportive sector, so you're like the third sector with all the medical stuff. Are you here to also check out what's going on medical-wise, or are you more privately here at this racing track?
Well, you know, not on an official visit to check. Really for my entertainment, for my knowledge, for my understanding, but ultimately, you know, if we're here to regulate the sport, I need to really have seen it and felt it, and to really understand just how the safety works. Tony Idden and his team have done a fantastic job here. It's a very safe sport, and it's just great to see. You know, it's really good.
Do you give any advice to the medical staff at this circuit, or are they super prepared also to track race?
Look, they're a very experienced team here. I met the CMO at the start, and I had a chat this morning, and brilliant team who know what they're doing here. So I'm not here really to assess anybody. I'm here for the understanding of the sport itself. It's a growing part of the FIA program, and I think it has huge potential going forward. Incredible fan base. So it's fantastic to be able to see what's been built and what can grow.
Speaking huge potential, you were based in Dubai, now you moved back over to UK. I know that the Dubai people love motorsports. Do you see track racing also maybe happening in Dubai soon?
Well, I'm not involved in the organization from the point of view of what happens where, but I think it would go very well. It would go very well in many parts of the world. It should grow. It's an interesting audience that really like grassroots racing, and that's what we're all about.
And it's really, really hot. All the trucks already had some medical issues as well. Speaking of exploding turbos and such, what is your advice to the drivers besides maybe drinking enough water?
Well, yeah, my background is I was CMO for Abu Dhabi Formula One and the Desert Challenge cross-country rally in the desert, of course. So we've done a lot of looking at this and research. It's not just about the water. It's about the electrolytes. It's about the salt. And it's about preparation, being well rested, pre-hydrating, not waiting until you are dehydrated before you drink. So, yeah, it's very hot today, 31, 32 degrees. So it's, it does have an effect on performance. And so the athletes, as they professionalize, are more aware of this.
All right, so I've already done it wrong. I only had like 10 bottles of water already, but that's it. No electrolyte, but I'm not sitting in the truck. I'm standing outdoors with some fresh air on my face. So I will check on one of the guys later on if they're well prepared. Thank you so much. And please enjoy this race weekend.
Thank you. No, it's great to be here.
Okay, Chas, back to you, and I might quickly run over to Mr. Newell maybe, because he had an issue in qualifying number 2. But back to you for now, and I'm gonna run over.
Thank you, Lena. What a fantastic insight that was as well by Sean Peterbridge. Thank you very much to Sean for taking the time to speak to us from the FIA Medical Commission. It's always a fantastic thing to hear about, isn't it? Just an element of the sport that doesn't always get all of the light shone on it that it should. You know, there's always an amazing amount of safety that goes into motorsport, especially truck racing with the size of these machines. But as Sean said himself, it is a very, very safe sport, but also the medical side of it as well. You know, the drivers, the competitors, the teams, even our flag bearers, everybody that gets involved in these events, they all need looking after, and there needs to be the medical support there at the circuit. And there are so many great officials and personnel behind the scenes that look after us all and keep these meetings running smoothly, and they are real unsung heroes of that. But wonderful to hear from Sean, a great interview indeed, and a fantastic insight to what goes on into a racing weekend. And it's lovely to see that he's enjoying the motorsport as well. And pre-hydrating is definitely a phrase that I'm going to remember for further down the line. I'm a sucker for thinking, oh, I'm really thirsty, I'll just have a drink now, rather than pre-hydrating. Speaking of pre, let's go pre-race with John Newell and speak to Lena, see what he's got to say.
And there's John Newell, and he had some issues on the track in qualifying number 2, but you're back in your truck, so you're ready to race and to maybe like make some dust over there and just push in the front.
Yeah, definitely. We've got the truck repaired pretty quick, so everything feels okay now, so we just need to go forward as quick as possible.
I just happened to speak to a medical president, and he told me it's not only about drinking but also eating electrolytes. How did you prepare for this race?
Yeah, I have a couple of little drinks with electrolytes in before we start, but other than that, we're not too bad. It's not that hot.
All right, so let's get this race started. Thank you so much. He's well prepared. I really like to hear this. So everybody is back down here. No issues for now. So let's see how this race goes. And Chas, the engines are starting up. I really, really love the sound. Let's go racing.
Said like a true Englishman, John Newell. It's not that hot. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I tell you, it's blinding hot there. It's not as hot here anymore in the UK, so I think I know where I'd rather be. There at Zolder in the heat. But the heat is about to rise even further, everybody, because race 3 of the weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is about to get underway, and the excitement will build, the revs will rise, and the tension will flare as well. It's going to be fantastic. Great stuff to watch. So there is Andrei Kurzim. He's going to be starting this race from in 7th position, I believe. He's had a bit of a busy weekend so far as Andre. He got a podium in yesterday's second race, the reverse grid race, behind Antonio Albacete and Norbert Kish. There is Steffi Halm. She's going to be starting this race from 5th on the grid with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez alongside her. There is Jose Eduardo and some of the Heinrich Clemens Hecker team making their way back into the pit lane. And there is Antonio Albacete's number 23 MAN of T-Sport Burnout. There is Jochen Hahn, number 2. And there is Connie Tolkun as well. She is there at the circuit itself, part of the FIA. Connie's an absolute superstar, a real lovely lady. Great fun to speak to. She came from hovercraft racing and drag racing. How cool is that? Hovercraft racing. Yes, really, hovercraft racing. Fantastic background that Connie's got. And certainly she is a real positive person to have around the paddock. There she is again with her magnificent hair that never moves. I always compliment Connie's hair because I've always had issues with trying to keep my hair to behave itself and spike it up and whatever. Connie seems to have mastered the art of it, bless her. Anyway, enough talking about my hair. It's time to go racing because Norbert Kish and Sasha Lenz, starting on the front row, are going to go head-to-head down to turn 1. It's not a front row that we've seen that often this season, actually. Norbert Kish has been on pole at every single race where qualifying sets the grid anyway. Sasha Lenz has only joined him on the front row a couple of times so far this season. So I'm intrigued to see what he can make of this before the first corner. But before that, we have our Iveco S-Way pace truck that's going to make its way from the front of the grid. You'll see it hop off the line in just a moment when the green flag flies and the green light comes on, with our very own wondrous human being himself, Frank the Tank as we call him, driving from the very front. He's our pace truck driver and a very accomplished truck driver as well, a very good one. My first ever lap around a circuit in a truck was with him at Misano at the end of 21 in that very Iveco S-Way, and let me tell you, I was clinging on for dear life. It's fantastic fun. There you go then, green flag waves and the grid makes its way around the circuit for the first time. It's a rolling start here in this championship, but this Iveco S-Way is a very special one indeed. It's powered by bio-LNG, and you can usually tell the LNG models apart from the standard diesel machines with the huge barrel-like Iveco branded bio-LNG tanks on the sides. That's if they don't have side skirts down the side to show them off, of course. But you reduce the emissions by up to 90% by running bio-LNG, and it doesn't come at a cost for any torque or horsepower either. And when you're on board with these machines, trust me, you cannot feel the difference at all. But very good stuff, again, in terms of the championship's overall commitment to the Paris Agreement to reach that by 2038 at the latest. Norbert Kish, pole position then. Sasha Lenz second, joining him on that front row. A great head-to-head fight down towards turn 1. Jochen Hahn called himself and Antonio Albacete the old boys in Le Mans a few years ago. I've not let him live that down since. They line up on the second row of the grid going head-to-head as well. Steffi Halm will line up alongside Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on row number 3. Jose Eduardo is having a fantastic weekend so far, so we hope that continues for him. Andre Curzin will line up 7th with Jamie Anderson in 8th place. Jamie will definitely be looking to move forward from there. He's not quite been on his usual pace so far this weekend. Heinrich Clemens Hecker and Louis Requenco make up the 5th row of the grid. And then we will have Mark Taylor and Stefan Faas lining up on the 6th row of the grid. And bringing up the rear row, we will have John Newell, who Lena just spoke to a moment ago, and Jonathan Andre, who was really happy with his times earlier on. He was explaining how much he's improved over his lap times over the course of the weekend. I think he said he did a 1:59.5 and got under 2 minutes, which was the first time that he'd achieved that, and he was really pleased with that time. Quite an interesting insight there as to the size of the Iveco S-Way as it is being chased by Norbert Kish. You can see just that our racing trucks are a lot smaller than the road-going counterparts, but it's mainly just the aerodynamics on the top of the Iveco S-Way, the big aero kit that helps the airflow over the front and then over the trailer. That's all that makes the height difference, really, to be honest with you. And you can hear, once again, they've got Thunderstruck on. As they now make their way around the final couple of corners. Into the final chicane we go then. Are you all ready, everybody? This is going to be round 23 of the championship, and it's certainly going to be an exciting one, with Norbert Kish leading the field down to turn 1. He's on the inside line with Sasha Lenz on the right. Sasha moves over to the right-hand side. You can see the truck's almost leaning slightly as they build up the boost, hold the brakes, and the lights go out, and the race gets underway for round 23 of the 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. They rumble and roar their way down to turn 1. Norbert Kish moves over to the right-hand side slightly to cover off the inside line where possible from Sasha Lenz, who manages to hold it round the outside of Jochen Hahn. Steffi Halm has got down the inside of Antonio Albacete, but that's going to become the outside line for the next 3 corners. Mark Taylor's having a go at Stefan Fass, who's been overtaken there by Louis Requenco from the 6th row of the grid. And it's Norbert Kish that leads them down towards the Lucien Bianchi box for the first time. It's Kish from Lenz, Hahn, Albacete, and then Steffi Halm. Behind her, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Andre Kurzim, then Jamie Anderson. And I believe behind them, we then had the number 24 machine of Stefan Fass and Louis Requenco. It's side by side in the middle, though, actually, as Jamie has got a run on Andre Kurzim and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Maybe a little bit of contact as they go through the chicane. Andre Kurzim smacks the curb and the back end hops up into the air, but I think he got away with it. I don't think he made contact with Jamie. And down through the chicane they go. And it seems like everybody kept it all nice and tidy. Apparently the start is under investigation, wondering whether there was any drivers that were slightly out of shot, or sorry, out of position, I should say. Sasha Lenz holding second place at the moment, as there's a move down the inside by Stefan Fass and Louis Requenco, nearly glancing the right rear corner of the truck in front, the Iveco. But Norbert Kish controlling the lead at the front yet again, doing a great job at this moment in time. This is what he does best. Race 1 and 3 of the weekend are usually his stomping grounds, to really stretch his legs, use his fantastic pace to drive away at the front of the field. He's had a few races this season where drivers have challenged him and stuck with him, but the overall consistency of his pace is what keeps him at the front. Sasha Lenz followed by Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. They're the 3 drivers that are chasing each other in terms of 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the championship. And Heinrich Clemens Hecker, well, he's not chasing anybody right now, unfortunately. He's come into the pit lane and the Scania is stationary. Not quite sure what's happened there. He was speaking to a member of the FIA and explaining what's happened. Doesn't look like there's any sort of major failure on the truck from the outside of it. That's a real shame for Heinrich Clemens Hecker. But the race continues without him. And over the crest of the hill they go. It's Norbert Kish, Sasha Lenz, Jochen Hahn, Antonio Albacete. In terms of the championship, it's Jochen Hahn in 2nd place, Sasha Lenz in 3rd, and Antonio Albacete in 4th. And the 3 of them are all very close on points. There's a big change every single weekend in how that balances out. And apparently Heinrich Clemens Hecker is on his way back out of the pits, so I'm not sure if he was asked to come in by the stewards or anything. But still, the race goes on. 2nd, 3rd and 4th still close together, with Steffi Halm watching the battle as... Oh, never mind, Heinrich Clemens Hecker's not coming out of the pits. He's going down towards the end of the pit lane, and he's going to head into the paddock by the look of it. That's a real shame for Heinrich Clemens Hecker. He was having a decent weekend so far, if you discount the accident yesterday, I suppose. But Norbert Kish around the last corner. I love that shot as they come up around the final corner over the crest of the hill. Really shows you the size of these absolute mammoth machines. But Norby doing what he does best at the moment. Consistent, quick lap times. The lap record has just fallen, I can tell you. It was a 1:57.180 in 2015 that Norbert Kish set, and he has just beaten that by, I believe, 15 thousandths of a second. He's just done a 1:57.165. So Norbert Kish setting a new lap record round here at Zolder. Very, very well done to Norby. He's going to continue to try and beat that, I imagine. He will not stop there. 1:58.001 for second place Sasha Lenz. He was 0.2 of a second quicker than Jochen Hahn on that lap, so he slightly opened up the advantage. And numbers 64 and 18, which is Louis Requenco and John Newell, have been warned for hitting penalty markers for the first time this race. But you can see just the way that these drivers are so talented at keeping the truck smooth on the brakes, smooth on the throttle. That's what it's all about in truck racing. There was a very interesting scenario where Isle of Man TT legend John McGuinness drove a racing truck, and he was explaining that it's actually, it seems crazy to say, very similar to racing a motorbike, because you have to think about where the weight is leaning on which side of the vehicle at all times and carry that inertia. Powering that inertia is 100% renewable HVO diesel as well, which is powering all of our race trucks. So it's all green, clean fun. Got it right today, didn't I? But it reduces the emissions by up to 95% in truck racing, and with again, the same as the Iveco with the bio-LNG, no loss of power or torque, and the trucks don't need to be modified to run it in any way. It's really, really cool stuff, isn't it? Because they can just use a different fuel without having to change anything in particular, any diesel filters or anything in terms of the fuel lines. It works in the same way, and the drivers still get the great power and torque out of it as well. And obviously, it means that there is not a massive amount of black smoke that comes out of these trucks, barely any at all. There are observers and even lambda sensors in the trucks that detect when the emissions get past a certain concentration, if it doesn't meet with the ethos of the championship and the sustainability methods that we all strive so hard to stick to. But the championship, while truck racing is seen as a big diesel guzzling series, it really isn't. It's a very, very clean form of racing, it has to be said, and it's great for the industry as well, the way that the championship ties into it, because a lot of the technologies and a lot of the individual components and truck parts and so on that get tested so rigorously here in motorsport can be applied to the industry as well. It really is, in terms of motorsport, I'd say all over the globe, one of the very closest racing formats to the industry that it is based on, and vice versa. You know, they go hand in hand very, very well. We've got a battle on screen here, which is Andrei Kursim in the Iveco with the Scania of Stefan Faas all over the back of him. The Tank Pool 24 machine, number 24. The gorgeous black, red and yellow livery. Technically the tricolour of Germany, but also the same colours that you will see adorned on the Belgian flag where we race this weekend, just in a slightly different order, to say the least, and turned on its side a little bit. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is having a go at Steffi Halmer around the outside at the... well, I was going to say the outside of the Boulderberg box, but he nearly got shoved off the actual circuit and had to pay to get back in there. Steffi was having absolutely none of it. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was on the gravel, and whoa, I think there's an issue. Steffi Halm's truck has, I think, just come to a stop. It looked like Steffi, for some reason, pulled over to the right-hand side and hit the wall there. I'm really not sure what happened. That's a very, very brave marshal there, actually, at the side of the circuit. But it seems like, it looks like, yeah, Steffi Halm pulled over to one side, and I'm told that Heinrich Clemens Hecker was out of the race due to black smoke. So the aforementioned observers and lambda sensors doing their job, and unfortunately something wrong with the truck of Heinrich Clemens Hecker. And yes, Steffi Halm is dropping down the order. That was really strange. So there was definite contact between her and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez out of the Boulderberg box, but the tiniest of touches, and then as they came down the straight, Steffi's truck just pulled over to one side and just kissed the wall and rested against it. So I'm not sure if that truck is still there or whether we're going to have a yellow flag or, worst case scenario, even a red flag to recover that, whether she was able to carry on or not. She hasn't completed the final sector and hasn't been into the pits yet by the look of it. So I'll keep my eye out for that and let you know what has happened there. But the race continues on. Andrei Kursim and Stefan Faas still battling away. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, I think, lost a place after all of that, actually. Jamie Anderson has gone through up into 5th place. He's having a good run of things so far. But unfortunately, yeah, Steffi stopped to the side of the circuit And apparently, yeah, she's out of the truck as well. So, yeah, there you can see it, look, rested up against the fence. So I'm not sure if something broke or if there was further contact with Jose Eduardo, but they're covering it with yellow flags at the moment. I suppose it's down the straight, so while it is a narrow straight, the trucks at least are only travelling in a straight line, so it's easier for them to avoid Steffi. They're not exactly going to run off the road and clatter into that truck there and try overtaking each other in a straight line. But that is a massive shame for Steffi. She had a really good qualifying session, qualifying in 5th position, with a great view of the battling going on in front with Antonio Albacete, who we see here, chasing down Jochen Hahn. Those 3 drivers are all still very close together as well, and all it's going to take is one mistake by any of them to really shake it up. Norbert Kish is now 3.5 seconds clear at the front on lap 6 of this race. The counter in the top left shows us how many laps we've completed. But 6 laps complete so far. Sorry, apologies, 5 laps complete so far. The timing screen is now telling me that we are on lap 6. But Jochen Hahn is looking like he might have to start defending here from Antonio Albacete. Antonio will be fired up after yesterday. Spoiler alert for those that haven't seen yesterday's racing, but Antonio was leading most of the race while Norbert Kish made his way through the pack. Norby overtook him, but just after the start-finish line, and a red flag came out, and on countback, Antonio was given the race win. But then there were penalties applied, which demoted Antonio down into 2nd position. So Norby eventually inherited the victory. So a real roller coaster of emotions for both of them as they kept swapping around. But Norbert Kiss is looking for his 2nd race win on the bounce here this weekend at Zolder. And what would be, I think, race win 16 of his campaign, and his 18th appearance on the podium this year. Just to put that into perspective, this is the 23rd race of the season as well, so that would mean only 4 races where Norby hasn't appeared on the podium, and 2 of those would have been with either a mechanical or electrical failure. Amazing form, absolutely amazing form by the Hungarian driver. Even Jochen Hahn said yesterday in an interview, when Lena asked if he was now focusing on 1st place in the championship, he said, oh, come on, Norby is the champion. He's almost subscribed himself to the fact that Norby has won this. But they never give up. At the end of the day, you're in it to win it in motorsport, and you have to carry on. Just looking down the timing screen now to see if there's any lap times that are really lighting it up, but no, doesn't seem so. As, oh, dearie me, that's part of the front right of Stefan Fass's machine that's gone up in the air. Just some of the fiberglass. John Newell has a bit of a wobble on the way into turn 1. I'm told that Antonio Albacete has now had his 2nd warning for hitting penalty markers, so he's definitely pushing on here to catch up with Jochen Hahn. But at the moment, it's just looking like Sasha Lenz is able to hold station, isn't it? Jamie Anderson pretty comfortable there in 5th position at the moment with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez behind. Andre Kurzem is definitely not comfortable though. He's had Stefan Fass ominously following him in his mirrors the whole race long. John Newell is in 9th place for some overall championship points. So too is Mark Taylor as well. Fantastic story to have Mark Taylor back on the grid for this weekend. He had a big accident at Most which bent the roll cage and damaged it. The roll cage and the safety cell of the vehicle doing its job and meaning that he was able to be perfectly okay after such a big hit. But unfortunately, it wasn't safe to continue racing with the truck just in case it took another hit like that. It had been weakened, basically, so they had to do a lot of repairs and make sure that it was all fixed and it was all good to go. Here comes Norbert Kish down towards us in the big red MAN, powered by the green 100% renewable HVO diesel, much like all of his competitors as well. 100% renewable HVO diesel that we run in the championship. Unfortunately though, as per the black smoke rules I mentioned before, Heinrich Clementecker has not adhered to such rules. But I tell you what, speaking of adhered, it's almost like they're adhered to that pit lane wall, isn't it? Andrei Kurzim specifically has been so close to it all weekend. He's been glancing the fence almost with that right-hand mirror. It's amazing because of how close they get. It's like one big xylophone down the start-finish straight for them as they just ring that right-hand mirror along the wall. It's just bonkers, isn't it? Absolutely bonkers. So, Stefan Faas still chasing down Andrei Kurzim. I'm still very intrigued by what happened to Steffi Halm, though, because there was only tiny contact between those two. And she hit the wall on the right-hand side. But still, Stefan Faas with that front right now. Big hole in it. It looks a lot more dramatic than it is, though. It doesn't make that much of a difference to the behaviour of the truck. But look at this chase now by Stefan Faas. He's filling those mirrors a lot, and to be fair, I'd say right now with Andrei Kurzim, he's probably trying to remove the mirrors from the side of the truck so he doesn't have to look behind and see Stefan Faas there. That's why he's hitting them against the fence. Great persistence this in the Promoters' Cup by Stefan Faas. We go on to lap number 9 now with Norbert Kish at the front of the field. Sascha Lenz has still got a gap over Jochen Hahn, but it's not much of a gap at this moment in time. It's fluctuating quite a bit here. Earlier on he had about 1.5 seconds to 1.8 seconds over him, but now, well, Sasha's only got a couple of tenths, and, well, it's not going to get any bigger like that either. He clips the gravel on the outside of turn 1. You've got to be so careful dipping a wheel out there. And for the eagle-eyed of you, you would have noticed that all of our trucks have 4 rear wheels as well. So often when you do get contact from front end to rear end on these trucks and it bursts a tyre or even just damages the wheel rim, the trucks can continue with a flat tyre at around 90% of their usual pace. It does make a big difference, but even still they can crack on and race to the best of their abilities. Look at Baloo just dancing over the curbs. Baloo being the name of Norby's MAN. She looked elegant dancing around there, just soaking up the curbs, just gliding its way around the circuit. You can see the platform of Norby's truck, just the bottom half of it just seems so flat against the surface. That's the real difficult thing about setting up racing trucks. At the end of the day, the cab is carrying so much weight with it over the front axle. You have to be able to provide as much of a sort of support package underneath it so that the cab doesn't drag that inertia too far away from the front axle. As whoa, dearie me, that is a big failure for Louis Requenco. The truck comes to a very sudden stop in the gravel trap, and I fear, without jumping to assumptions too quickly, we may get a red flag for that, because that is not in a good position, and there will be a lot of fluid placed down on the circuit after that one. Louis Requenco jumps out of the truck very quickly. Here he is, side by side with Jonathan Andre, and bang, something lets go underneath. Wow, that is a colossal failure. Fantastic footage, at least, and good to see that Louis was okay. But surely something oil-related has gone there. It's very white-blue smoke almost, which suggests that it's something oil-related. Well, they say everything is bigger in truck racing, everybody, and the failures are as well. There's going to be a full course yellow, so a good way to handle that without bringing out the red flag immediately. Full course yellow will be now brought out, and the drivers will be reduced to a set speed all the way round. Good to see Louis is okay, though. It's a very scary thing to see. Very dramatic and exciting, sure, but never what you want to see for any of our competitors. And hopefully, if there is a fire or anything remaining on the truck, they can put it out and save whatever damage they can to the number 64 Iveco. Here's another look at it. You can see it was letting go gradually, and then all of a sudden you can just see the fireball underneath it. You can see the flames completely underneath the truck as well, stretching higher than the top of the cab and out completely sideways too. That's remarkable. There's a lot of oil and fluid on the track apparently as well, so that's even more reason to have the full course yellow. And look, the drivers can probably see it. I mean, you can see the sheen on the track of where it's just let go. It has absolutely eradicated itself of all oil. It came to a very sudden stop in the gravel as well. I can imagine that Louis was pressing the brake pedal quite firmly, to say the least. Wow. Wow, 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 indeed. Main thing is, though, Louis is okay, and there is a red flag brought out, I can tell you. The race has been stopped. We were on lap 9 of the race as well, so unfortunately that may be the second race to finish under red flag conditions this weekend for the championship. But obviously thoughts go to Louis and the team, and hopefully they can get that fixed pretty easily and quickly, and it was just a certain component. The fire wasn't around very long, so fingers crossed it didn't burn through much and didn't damage much of the truck itself. It was out very, very quickly as it just completely dispersed all of its oil reserves. It hasn't been sat there burning away for a long time. There's still a lot of heat coming from it, as you can see, though. There's still a little bit of smoke and heat haze coming out of the top. But we thought that Antonio Albacetti's failure at Most last year was a big one. That was on another scale, that one, for Louis Requenco. Antonio's MAN last year at Most, it was. I think it was in the first race of the weekend as well. Decided that it was going to try its own space program using one of its pistons as it fired it out the top of the engine and caused a massive hole. But that there was, yeah, certainly dramatic indeed. Norbert Kish makes his way into the pit lane, and I'm sure will be declared the race winner there. I don't think there's as much of a question mark over that one like there was with race 2 yesterday with him and Antonio Albacetti. And I imagine that there is going to be one hell of a clean-up operation now for the oil and body parts of the truck. There you go, there's an idea of the scale of these racing machines. I mean, you could see when those pieces fell off the truck earlier, they just look like a couple of pieces of, you know, the fiberglass that you could maybe fit in the palm of your hand earlier on, but no, they are rather large chunks of truck that have come flying off. Hopefully the front of Requenco's machine doesn't do too much involuntary gardening here for this gravel trap. And a round of applause for Norbert Kirsch as he comes into the pit lane to be declared race winner. Sascha Lenz will join him on the podium, and Jochen Hahn will take his second podium of the weekend. Again, a real shame though to have another race finished under red flag, but these things happen in motorsport. As we've seen, we've had a lot of failures and technical issues with some of the machines this weekend, so it's definitely a weekend of attrition here at Zolder, isn't it? And there is Jochen Hahn finishing in P3. You could see Diana Hahn in the background there as well, happy with that result and some more championship points for the cause. Both Jochen and Sascha will be very happy as well, because it means that they extend a slight advantage over Antonio Albacetti in the championship points situation. Jamie Anderson will be classified in 5th place. It'll be another win in the Promoters Cup for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, 3 from 3. Sascha Lenz very happy with 2nd place, so he's not upset that the race finished under red flag. In the Promoters Cup, it would have been Stefan Faas in 2nd place as well, and John Newell taking a podium in the category. He finished 9th in that one. Mark Taylor finished 10th, so both the British drivers there in the Promoters Cup getting their points. There's Stefan Honings as well. Stefan Honens, I should say. Having a laugh with Sascha. And we're going to get Lena down there now to have a chat with him and get the initial reaction from that great race.
Of course, it's like a déjà vu from yesterday. Congratulations for a very strong race today. It was your 250th first race, you know, finally back on podium. How are you feeling? Although you finished under red flag again.
Yeah, we are really happy. My mechanic guys make a really good job. We have a lot of problems, you know. Sometimes I feel the truck not so nice. The guys check every time the truck, and we work really hard that we become P2 back. So yeah, I think it was a good race. Nobody can drive directly a big gap. So, and then was only managed a little bit. And I see the last 2 laps, Jochen comes every time closer and closer, and then I say, okay, Jochen, it's in only 3 laps. I think when I make a no mistake, you can me not overtake. So I'm happy.
Jochen, you have the closest fight in the championship, about second and third place in total. So how does it feel to you to keep him in the back?
You know, I think we fight all together, but Nobby, it's too hard. He's a really good driver, and chapeau. But behind Nobby, it's all open for us. So, and that's a fight for us. You know? So
you're confident? You know what happened? That you even got the red flag? Are you aware what happened?
I see only that one guy in travel, so I was happy that it was the red flag. My truck was the last 2 laps, not so fast was on the beginning. So I'm really happy for my team and for my sponsors.
So now you can cool down, your truck can cool down, and you can get your next trophy. Of course, quickly back to Norbert Kish. Congratulations again today. Well-deserved first place under red flag again. How does this make you feel? I mean, you have been so far in the front. I don't think those 3 laps would have made a big difference, would they?
You know, I'm not sure about the points though, you know, so if we get the full points or the half points, do you know if we get the full points? Yeah, I'm not sure either, because I think we are just on the limit of the percentage. But yeah, you know, I think we were quite safe in front. Yeah, but quite strange weekend so far, you know, because we had 3 races. I haven't completed a full race distance yet, but 2 race victories.
But there's a 4th race coming today, so maybe you can close down this race weekend with 12 laps and then a first place maybe.
Yeah, it would be nice to do the full length in the last race, but we will see. But you know, overall, I am very happy, you know, because the team did a really good job, you know, to come back from the failure from yesterday and to perform strong again here today in the qualifying and in the first race as well. I am very happy and very proud of the Ravis Racing team, so good job.
I also like that you have no issues on your truck, somewhere having issues again. So I see you on the 4th race and I see you now on the podium, because I think they're already waiting for you up there. Very nice. So let's walk over there, because the prize giving ceremony is very close. And as we walk over there, back to Mr. Draycott.
Thank you, Lena. Yes, great to hear from our drivers finishing on the podium in that one. But wow, I don't want to go on about it too long, but that was a very scary moment, that, for Louis Requenco. Glad he's okay, but it's a shame that the race has to get stopped. But again, these things, we have to just make sure that everything is as safe as possible for all of our drivers and competitors. And with the oil down there at the chicane, with his truck in the firing line, it wouldn't have been safe to continue. Norbert Kish takes the win then, 6 seconds clear of Sasha Lenz, with Jochen Hahn finishing in 3rd and completing the podium. Antonio Albacetti finishes in 4th place, with Jamie Anderson taking a strong 5th. He'll be happier with that one. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez finishes 6th. Andre Kurzin was 7th, ahead of Stefan Faas in 8th, and John Newell and Mark Taylor complete the top 10. Behind them was Jonathan Andre in 11th position, with Louis Requenco being classified as 1 lap down, and Steffi Halm also retiring from the race, as well as Heinrich Clemens Hecker, who got brought into the pit lane for the black smoke infringement. There you can see all the drivers and teams and everybody enjoying what seems like a very lovely vibe down there in the paddock. There is Janine Meyer. Great to see her as well. Sorry, I can't get my words out today. She's just discussing with the drivers now probably how the race ended or what the podium procedure is going to be. John Newell just off to the left there as well. I believe, is that Davide Califano from Goodyear? It is indeed. How cool a surname is that, Califano? Sounds fantastic. Davide's great, always a good laugh to speak to. And now the podium will be started. Stefan Faas there as well to congratulate Norby on another victory. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez just off to the left of shot 2. And our 3rd place finisher makes his way up to the podium, Jochen Hahn. And Sasha Lenz then makes his way up for 2nd position. And Norbert Kish takes another race victory. That's race win number 16 of the season. I imagine Jochen was saying something along the lines of soak Norby there. Or Sasha was saying something about contact and something off the circuit, I'm not sure. Usually Jochen does make a plan to soak Norby on the podium, and Sasha's one for a bit of mischief with the champagne as well. And there is Norbert Kish hoisting the trophy high in appreciation for his team and his supporters as always. And now we will have the Hungarian national anthem for Norbert Kiss. And a big round of applause for Norbert Kiss, your winner. And he joins yet again Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz on the podium. These three completing a lot of podiums recently. That is going to be the... Just figuring it out actually for Sascha Lenz. Yes, he and Jochen have both had 2 podiums apiece this weekend, so that's 12 podiums each for them this season and 18 podiums for Norbert Kiss. The Hungarian driver surely on his way to a championship victory this year. It's going to take a lot to stop him in the next 2 meetings. And look at that, we have a GoPro mounted on the champagne bottle, so Norby's got to make the most of that one. Sascha and Jochen haven't started spraying theirs, and I think Norby knows what's coming. Yep, I told you that they were going to get him. I told you. And look at that, he plays it to the camera as well. Fantastic stuff. Love that. Great entertainment. Honestly, I hate to say that one of my favourite things about the whole championship isn't actually the racing but the champagne spraying, but it's just such a wholesome thing to watch, isn't it? Norbert Kiss closes in on 300 points at the top of the standings then, 227 points the way of Jochen Hahn, and Sascha Lenz in 3rd position. Trucks 1, 2 and 3. Positions 1, 2 and 3 ahead of Antonio Albacete. Andre Kurzim in 5th. Steffi Halm in 6th ahead of Jamie Anderson in 7th. Then it's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in 8th, with Lucas Hahn and Stefan Fass completing the top 10 in the championship at the moment. Mark Taylor is currently in 11th place, with Adam Lachko behind him after his one-off appearance at the glorious Most round of the season, with John Newell in 13th place, Heinrich Clemens Hecker 14th, then Louis Requenco, Jonathan Andre and Owen Klein-Nagelvoort completes our point scorers so far in the 2023 season. John Newell makes his way up to the podium for 3rd position in the Promoters' Cup. Second place going the way of Stefan Fass, but first place going the way of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Another win for this young man in the category.
Trophies in Promoters' Cup given by Ali Steekman, CEO of Circuit Zolder, and Bert Lambrecht, Deputy of the Province of Limburg.
And now the trophies will be given out one at a time to our drivers, and then we will get the national anthem of Portugal for our race winner, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. And what a fantastic weekend Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is having. 3 wins on the bounce in the Promoters' Cup and an overall podium in race 1 of the weekend. A great running here at Zolder for him. I believe I just caught a glimpse of my good friend Andrea Pataro down there in the group watching the podium presentations. I'm sure he'll be hoping that Louis Requenco hasn't melted one of his sensors during that fireball in that truck. John Newell struggling with the champagne there. It's not something I thought I'd ever say. There you go. And a quick clink of the bottles. And a well done to our top 3 in the Promoters' Cup. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez still leads the championship though, 29 points clear of Stefan Fass. And Lucas Hahn still sits there in third place after only a couple of appearances this season. John Newell moves ahead of Mark Taylor now into fourth position. He's now 3 points clear of Mark with a couple of race meetings to go. Louis Requenco is in sixth place on 134 points. Him and Heinrich Clementeca not scoring in that one, so it gives the two drivers a bit of a break in front. Then it's Jonathan Andre who now gets up to 69 points. Nice. With Erwin Klein-Nagelvort in ninth position. It's been great entertainment though yet again this season, the Promoters Cup. It's always a good laugh. And we're going to go back down to Lena, who's got somebody to speak to around the podium presentations.
Not only somebody, I even got two drivers. So first of all, Jochen, quick talk to you, because you really still have a close fight to Sasha. How are you feeling?
Yeah, today I have a small mistake in the time practice and I'm on the third position. But I know in the head it will be go faster, and you know that's why we do it. We have a fight about the position too, and we enjoy it. And I see okay a little bit in the end of the race, and okay last lap I will do something, but we have the red flag. Hopefully everybody is okay, and it's okay on the podium. Happy for the day. Until now, we will see what happens later.
Is this what you sometimes need, like a little adrenaline or someone to like battle against a little bit?
Ask a race driver why we make racing. So we must first of all enjoy it, you know, and then we need a battle. And we love the battle with the competitors. That's why we do it. And okay, I will not say we do something on the table and we make a comparison. No, we must do it on the outside and we make the fighting. That's why we do and we love it.
All right, John, you have heard it from the experienced truck driver. Yeah. You always need the battle. Do you feel the same, maybe also in the Promoters Cup?
Yeah, definitely. I got a bad qualifying, so I had to move up as quick as possible. Got up to P9 after a couple of laps. And that was it, really. Plenty of good battles, just had to do it quick.
You were more fighting the material of your truck today because you had some like little issues. Now everything got fixed. How does it feel like being there out on the track, on the heat, and also specifically in Zolder? Maybe you can explain to the audience a little better, like how is the feeling in the truck itself, specifically here in Belgium?
It feels great here. There's lots of technical corners, hard on the brakes, hard on the truck, and hard on the drivers with this heat.
So I mean, you have to train your locks, obviously. Then you're both ready for race number 4. We are starting out soon. So, Chaz, back to you for now, and a little melting Lena down here.
I was going to say, Lena, yesterday I mentioned that it was T-shirt and shorts weather, but I'm not quite sure how you're pulling that one off for that long today, because it seems mighty warm out there indeed. Here's a look back then at some of the best pictures of our first race of the day here at Zolder, with Norbert Kisch starting on the front row alongside Sascha Lenz. It was a great battle down towards the first corner for Norby and Sascha, but Norby held on though to remain in front and of course would try and move away from the front of the pack as best he could to then go on and take another race 3 victory. Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn on the second row were well aware that the battles could reign through this one and it was going to be a tough fight for them, but still the two very experienced heads were not able to overcome Sascha Lenz, even in the later stages where it seemed like Jochen was able to rein him in slightly. In the middle of the pack, it was certainly a big fight between Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Steffi Halm. Unfortunately, Steffi not finishing the race by the end, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez going on to finish that one. But Andrei Kurzim had to defend all the way through from Stefan Fass, and he certainly had his work cut out to do so. Louis Requenco was running well inside the top 10 before his failure, as Jonathan Andre continued to improve his pace as the weekend went on. But I tell you what, once again, great effort from Andrei Kurzim to do more defensive driving. But the red flag would ultimately come out after the big failure for Louis Requenco and into the gravel. It was certainly a massive fireball, as you see here. But luckily, Louis was fine. The fire went out very quickly, and we hope to see him out again later on. I'm going to say goodbye for now, though. Thanks very much for listening, and I will hand back down to Lena, who's going to do some final words for us.
Much for watching race number 3 of this race weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We will be back for race number 4 after 4 p.m. So really easy to remember. Let's see if we will finally have 12 laps in another fantastic race. So see you in a bit. Have some ice cream. Bye bye.